You will have an AI girlfriend and you will like it. Okay? Frankly, that's where we're headed. Let's talk about it. Such creepy videos on screen. I think we all thought or hoped we'd be dead by the time this started happening. But it is the thing that prompted the segment, and then I'll show you just the extent that companies are going. But someone took a photo of someone else. I can't even tell where this is. Oh, on the subway. Someone named Jake said, guy on the subway this morning talking to ChatGPT like it's his girlfriend. And you can see there, he's writing, "You're doing beautifully, my love. Just by being here. Thank you." To ChatGPT. And this prompted me to look into the status of more advanced things than that. We interviewed Arya, a 175,000 almost human robot at CES 2025. So in 2025, you had roll out a robot woman. This week, robots were around every corner. But there was one that got closer than most to sounding and looking just like an actual human. And that was, I guess, someone named Arya. Or something. Not someone. Something. Now, I'll give my thoughts on this in a second. But for more context, if we go back a year, here's the discussion.
Is to human relationships. The movie Her seemed like absurd science fiction a decade ago. A lonely, heartbroken man played by Joaquin Phoenix finds solace in an artificial intelligence female voice that he talks to through his phone and earbuds, played by Scarlett Johansson.
The woman that I've been seeing, Samantha, she's an operating system.
You're dating Inois? What is that like?
I feel really close to her. Like when I talk to her, I feel like she's with me.
You're dating your computer?
She's not just a computer.
You always wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone.
This is real. That's fiction, but this is real, as we're getting into.
That sci-fi concept, fast becoming a troubling reality. As an example, here's one of countless chatbot apps providing AI friends. It's called Cupid AI, with a K for Cupid. It offers several avatars with distinct physical features and a list of
distinct physical features. What does he mean by distinct physical features? That's like CNN-ifying what he's trying to say. Distinct, notable, present, physical attributes.
personality traits for you to start interacting with and customizing. For instance, here's the opening message from an avatar named Alice, described as a curious and open-minded photographer.
I'm Alice, a 25 years old, fun-loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable.
Right, so that was a year ago. Wow, look, you can turn on your phone and Alice or whatever with distinct physical characteristics can say, hey, you're great, you're hot, or whatever, okay? And then we got a little bit concerned because Zuckerberg started talking about AI friends.
As the personalization loop kicks in and the AI just starts to get to know you better and better, I think that will just be really compelling. One thing just from working on social media for a long time is there's the stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. 3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something, right? I guess there's probably some point where you're like, all right, I'm just too busy. I can't deal with more people. But the average person wants more connectivity, connection than they have. So there's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real-life connections? And my default is that the answer to that is probably no. I think I think that there are all these things that are better about kind of physical connections when you can have them, but the reality is that people just don't have the connection and they feel more alone a lot of the time than they would like. So I think that a lot of these things that today there might be a little bit of a stigma around, I would guess that over time, we will find the vocabulary as a society to be able to articulate why that is valuable and why the people.
I think over time, here's this lip thing. Over time, we will find the vocabulary to reduce the stigma around why you're banging a robot. I just hope the stigma will go. Like we really have made efforts to destigmatize talking about mental health. I think a similar thing should happen with banging robots. I just think that would really help us move forward as a society. Because why wouldn't we trust Zuckerberg, who helped us so much get connected the first go round, to connect us, deal with our loneliness problems through his solutions this second go round? It's not. I'm so scared. I haven't got to my take. I'm so scared. We've done all of these things that sought to enhance connectivity that ended up, and there's real data behind this, obliterating connectivity. So social media is another example is the prime example of this, which is we were sold the idea that now physical barriers, geography didn't have to keep you disconnected from people, and through technological means and through social media, you could constantly have community. But people are feeling more disconnected than ever now. We have more access to each other and we're more disconnected because there's just something about that form of connection that's not real. Now you start to get in a little bit of really tough, squishy concepts, but we know it to our core that us connecting digitally, except for this connection, baby, is not the same as real human to human connections without any screens in between. And so the same thing with however advanced we can make AI, I struggle to believe that it would be good for society, it would be fulfilling for people to replace friendships, and then definitely, as this next video shows, romantic relationships, sexual relationships with technology. This video is titled "The AI Robot Girlfriend Shocked the World." Finally here. I love that. Yes, finally, I've been waiting. Oh, I'm so pent up.
Or even a potential romantic partner. Crazy, right? Well, let me introduce you to Arya, an AI-powered humanoid robot from a company called Realbotics. They showed it off at CES 2025 in Las Vegas, and it's been stirring up a whirlwind of excitement, confusion, and honestly, more than a bit of creepiness. Now, Arya isn't your run-of-the-mill plastic mannequin with a speaker. Realbotics spent a lot of time making it look about as human-like as...
Why? I get on a societal basis how technological advancements, there's this inevitability to them, but there is a guy or lady who is sitting somewhere in a lab working on making Arya as passable as a human as possible. You, why? Not we, you, why? Why are you working on her eyeballs? I want to know. I want to know why you're going, no, her lips don't move like a real human. Let's make it completely unrecognizable how accurate her lip movement is. You specifically, why?
Current tech allows. We're talking 17 motors in the neck and head just to move the mouth and eyes more realistically, plus a rolling base to scoot around, because walking is still a huge challenge for modern robotics. In fact, Realbotics didn't want to break the human illusion with a weird, stiff walking gait, so they just gave it a Roomba-style platform to glide on, kind of like a fancy mobile podium. When we first saw Arya, she was dressed in a sleek tracksuit, rocking some big expressions. She can even do these subtle gestures with her hands, though sometimes a bit jerky, and she's got a sort of plastic smile that feels part friendly, part Five Nights at Freddy's, if you know what I mean. One moment, she's brushing her hair aside like she's on a date. The next, her face is contorting oddly because some motor is still calibrating. It's all very next level, uncanny valley.
So you saw there, and I'll describe for our podcast listeners, it's a little bit, when she's fully functioning, a little bit robotic, but pretty disturbing how she looks human. And that's We went from a year ago, whoa, on your phone you can talk, to now the advancements of AI you can just plant into Arya, and then they're getting pretty good at making it seem, we're a year away from it just being a human, like in all of its movement, where you want to be able to tell unless you really got close. So the AI video stuff, I mean, it's there already. I could be AI, you wouldn't even know. I'm not, I promise. You think AI, do you think AI could do this? Sorry. I don't know why I found that so funny. You think AI could do this? But you think AI could do this? No. But we're almost there. There was a movie on, I think, Netflix or TV show or something, where what's her name? The really famous actress. She played an AI bot, and she's whatever. A beautiful actress played another girlfriend situation, where now those shows are just almost a documentary. They're just very close to a documentary. If you're a parent, you're going to walk in on your 25-year-old son. Can we be adults for a second? First, if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. If you appreciate the show, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you even if you don't appreciate the show. Let's be adults. You will walk in on someone having sex with Arya. You will. And what is that going to do to our society? Well, I do, on a serious note, I am seriously concerned this is going to give people more reason to be distant. There are all these reports and studies about people not being part of community groups like they used to. People not being, and sometimes people will attribute that to religions declining. It's more than that. And I think that technology has such a big part of it, which is people get, it's sort of like, one of the dangers of ultra processed foods is that there's all these calories, and as you're eating it, you're being tricked into thinking you're doing what your body wants, which is to consume things that have the nutrients that you need, but it's so nutrient empty that then you keep getting hungry over and over because you're not getting what you need from the food, but it tricks you to thinking that you do, or that you are getting what you need. Or like a diet beverage, it tricks you into thinking there's sugar there when there's not. It's a similar thing with technology. It tricks you into thinking you're connecting. So then you get that dopamine boost, but then you're not getting the fulfilling part of connecting. And it gets emptier and emptier and emptier. And people are replacing in-person, real-world communities with online communities, or just watching other people, not really connecting with anyone, just watching other people's lives, and becoming more and more void of the fulfilling. I really do believe, I don't know the meaning of life, I don't know all that, but I do know that a fundamental part of why we live and what we need to live happily is connecting with each other. And we're getting an artificial version of that that's not providing the same fulfillment, which is not a crazy thought. We all sort of societally have come to those conclusions. But then you have the same people who got us there in the first place, like Zuckerberg, saying, no, wait. But this time, I promise, the AI friends, I promise, are actually going to be the things that we solve our connectivity problems with. People want to be more connected like they used to be a while ago. And then they lost a lot of connection. I don't know why, but now I want to give them that connection. We lost it because you tried to give it to us the first time. You and others, not Zuckerberg by himself, but just this phenomenon of trying to replace human connection with digital connection. So now we have, what's going to happen to the incels? If they can just get, 175,000 for a while, as long as it's not affordable. But AI girlfriends are like cars. We're going to be able to eventually make them cheaper. You can get a cheaper girlfriend one day. A less distinct, physically characteristic girlfriend is a little bit more, who will creepily flirt with girls at bars if they can just go home to an AI girlfriend? Who will send us disturbing, sexualized hate mail if they're with their AI girlfriend. We need the incels. Who will support Andrew Tate if they're no longer incels? Because they have an AI girlfriend. What will anything be for if we're not pursuing each other? Really? If you can just have an artificial replacement for everything. And do you know what is the most horrifying part? They're gonna be better at sex. Let's just get that out of the way. Do you think Arya won't be better? It's AI. It could watch what's gonna happen to porn. We could what I mean what who's gonna pay for OnlyFans anymore if everyone has an AI girlfriend? The OnlyFans industry is gonna collapse. I don't want to live in a world without the OnlyFans industry exploding and being absolutely terrible for a lot of people. Okay, that would actually be one benefit, to be honest, of this, is if we could, not to judge anybody, but I think things got a little out of hand on the OnlyFans front, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But they could analyze all of the sex in the world and then do it better. Think about, have you ever felt sexually inadequate? Oh, you haven't met Arya yet. Plus, I'm only thinking about AI girlfriends because that's what this story is about, which, by the way, is so America. I don't even know if this is from America. The fact that we're designing an AI girlfriend first instead of boyfriends. But eventually they're going to get to boyfriends. You know what I'm thinking. We got to regulate that. 6 or less. Okay? For AI boyfriends. We can't have them wreaking havoc. 6 or less. That's my bill. And I don't know. Girls and guys have a lot of problems with each other. That makes sense. People have a lot of problems with each other. Same-sex couples have a lot of problems with each other. So we're going to... But that's life. That's the beauty of life. Is that we have to push past the fact that sometimes the person you love is irritating. You have to learn how to deal with people's problems. You have to deal with the fact that maybe they're way smaller than the AI boyfriend would be. We have to deal with those things in life. And that's the beauty. And that's what makes love so amazing and connection so worthwhile, is that you push through those things. You overcome those things. You become closer for it. Imagine if you can design exactly to your liking a person.
Jarvis, make her 4 feet tall with a feisty attitude, please. Let's take the giggliness up by 45%. Make a bounce. Jarvis, make her 9 feet tall. Jarvis, make her 9 feet tall. Yes. I want her to look like the Na'vi.
Then, what? If you could go to a company and say, I want Arya to be this tall, this physically distinct. That's so funny. That CNN host. I want her to never, say this. I want her to do this. I want her to have this attitude. Then you're going to be able to pay your way past everything that makes life worthwhile. Quick anecdote. My dad, so I showed on our bonus show the song that I played for my brother's wedding. And the message of it was these two individuals who are going to serve the country are going to come back no matter what to each other, and are making that promise to each other. My dad actually, get a load of this guy, also wrote a song to steal my spotlight. No, with an absolutely beautiful message that was the traditional message you hear at weddings is, I'm going to be with you until the end, right? I look forward to being with you until our last days. And the song went something like, I look forward to being with you until the end, but even more, I look forward to everything in between, right? Every stop along the way. And how sometimes we think of life so much about how I'm going to get here, or I'm going to be with you this long, and forget that the meaningful part is everything that happens in between. And in a I'm trying to be, obviously I've made a lot of jokes about this, but in a totally unironic sense, that's what I think some of these solutions seek to forget, which is that, oh, you want a girlfriend who does this, who speaks this way, acts this way, etc. Boom, here, handed. Instead of all of the going out to meet people, the initial first date, the dealing with your differences, everything that makes life worthwhile and makes a relationship fulfilling once you weather those storms and learn more about each other because of those things. And when Zuckerberg says, I don't know if AI will replace people's in-person connections, but it might, it should terrify us, because we have a case study on a smaller level or a less advanced level with social media not filling that void and actually unraveling communities and making people more lonely. We have a loneliness crisis. And now they're seeking to solve that with the problem. Like, oh, the problem can be solved by a more advanced version of the thing that caused the problem in the first place. And so I don't know what we do. Can we ban? I don't know. But it's crazy how we're barreling towards that. Because the day that Arya can do you better is the day humanity fails. Share your thoughts in the comments.